Hey y'all, I'm Chelsea and welcome to my simple, smart, and sustainable signature weight loss program. This is a signature program, meaning that there's no crazy diets, gimmicks, supplement shakes, whatever. It's based on realistic and practical changes that fit into your daily routine to give you long-term sustainable results. Not a quick fix. We're not here to put a band-aid on a long-term issue. We want results and we want them to stay. Before getting into the program, a little bit about me. If you've been following me for a while, you probably already know what I'm about. You probably know that I'm obsessed with my dogs if you followed me for more than 5 minutes. But if you're new here, welcome. So I am the face and the voice behind it all. If we're Facebook friends or if we've been chatting on social media, texting, whatever, it all comes from me and me only. No bots, no assistants, no co-coaches. So you never have to worry about, anybody or me are going to like spam you or send you some kind of like generic, like automated message or anything like that. So I'm obsessed with my dogs, a little bit with my husband too. I guess he's okay. I love to travel. You may also see on my page that we have some travel pictures and things like that on there because I think it's kind of boring just to post stuff about nutrition. I grew up in the age of Almond Moms and America's Next Top Model. Probably did too, or you could probably at least watched it. My mom was obsessed with the Slim Fast shakes and every single fad diet in the history forever. She's probably tried it. And so what happened is this really kind of skewed my perception of nutrition and health. My teens and especially like my early 20s. So I was really struggling to find the balance in my own life, like probably so many of you are as well. So after becoming a dietitian and understanding the science behind it all, I finally found the balance in my own life, and now I'm on a mission to really help others do the same. Because I think we've also gotten away from what is simple, what is smart, what is sustainable, and what works, because we're so focused on all of the information out there and the confusing and conflicting information about, like, is it keto? Is it intermittent fasting? Is it, low carb? So it's very confusing, and it's kind of really skewed our own perception of what true nutrition and health really is and what that looks like. Where you are, you're probably confused about calories, carbs, proteins, etc. Like I said, there's too much information out there. It's all conflicting. One day eggs are good and the next day they're bad. You're unsure what to do about what works for you, your body, and your goals. I hear it all the time. I don't know what works for me and my body and what I'm trying to aim for. Maybe you've had a history of yo-yo dieting, so I also hear it all the time. I've tried every single diet in history forever under the sun, but nothing works for me. That's not true. We just got to find the right thing that works for you. It's not that nothing has worked, it's that you haven't tried the right things yet. Or maybe you are using or have used a GLP-1 shot, semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, something like that. Maybe you've lost some weight, but you're unsure how to keep that weight off or what you can do to maintain that weight loss long term. Where you need or want to be, having the knowledge and understanding of what good nutrition is and what it looks like, because there's so much confusion out there. Having more energy and confidence and mobility and stamina to enjoy life, to go hiking with your family, or to walk around the mall and not get winded. Feeling confident in whatever we put on. So we're losing the weight and we're keeping it off without eliminating our favorite foods. So many times we are in this diet mentality and restriction mindset that we can't have cookies, or we can't have a piece of cake at the birthday party, or we can't have a cocktail whenever we go to brunch with our friends because it's not going to be helpful for our weight loss, or we're going to feel guilty about it. No, we're not here for that. We're here to have the best of both worlds. And then maybe you're looking to, of course, avoid that rebound weight gain after that GLP-1 shot. So where you ultimately want to be is to the point where you can do this in your sleep and not have to think about it because it's habitual at this point. I know it seems kind of daunting in the beginning because everything is so intentional, but I promise that you will be able to move past that and eventually it will be second nature. So some reasons for why you're struggling. There's no clear plan to reach your goals. This is probably the number one thing. A lot of times is we have these New Year's resolution top goals, which are great. We need to have those big long-term goals, but we are so fixated on them, we forget about these small incremental goals that get us there. Thinking about the fact of like maybe running a marathon. I'm not a runner by any means, but I also know that if I'm brand new to it, I'm not going to get out and start running 10 miles a day. For me personally, I'm just going to try to get through that first like half a mile without passing out. And then once I get really good at that half mile, keep trying it, keep doing it, repeating it, I'm going to tap on maybe another half of a mile and build up from there. So in the same kind of sense, this is what we want for our plan to reach our overall goals, is we want to build those habits and that stamina with those smaller incremental things to reach the overall big things. And then ultimately, we're trying to melt our life into our goals rather than melt our goals into our life. This is why a lot of times, going back to the New Year's resolution, January 1, we're gung-ho, we're going to do all the things, be the epitome of health, work out every single day, and drink all the water, when that's not our normal routine. So we're doing this complete 180. The Chelsea tomorrow is completely different than the Chelsea today. And then I'm confused as to why I can't make this work for my normal life and schedule, because it's not me. We got to fit the goals into my life. We got to fit the goals into your life, and we got to melt those to make them work for you, not you for your goals. And then third is that we're losing consistency and motivation whenever we're not seeing results immediately. I think part of the problem here is like diet culture, social media. We get instantaneous gratification. With everything else, we can get Amazon delivered overnight. Why can't we get results overnight? So we lose that consistency and that motivation whenever we're not seeing results. And then we kind of think, well, what's the point? Why am I doing this in the first place? Ultimately, what's the biggest, I feel like, benefit to this program is the accountability and support to keep going, because a lot of times we need an accountability partner or a support partner. I see it all the time, people asking on Facebook, hey, I need a gym buddy, somebody to help hold me accountable. Whenever you're doing it on your own, it's harder to maintain that motivation and get that consistency. Looking at what the Simple, Smart, and Sustainable, or the SSS program, is going to do for you. It is an individualized plan. This is key. You hear a lot of coaches talking about, oh, this is a personalized plan or a customized plan. But it's not. They give you some kind of generic one-size-fits-all thing that's not necessarily tailored to your specific need, your life, your goals. It doesn't account for the fact of like, maybe you're a busy mom who's also a realtor, you're constantly on the go, showing houses, but also shuttling to soccer practice. So this basic meal plan that they give you that requires you to cook every single meal isn't going to cut it. You don't have time to do that. Who does? So it's not that you want this generic plan. What you really want is someone to help make your goals work for your busy schedule in your life. The other problem is that these generic plans are not adjustable to the changes in your life. We all know that every season of life is different. No season is the same. And if they were, our life would be a lot easier. It would be easier to stay consistent and stay on track. But for instance, September comes around, school starts back. So now we have to be planning for drop off and pick up, school sports, schedules. It'll be crazy. So what worked for you in the summer may not necessarily work for you in the fall. Or I had another client who just had surgery, and so we needed to adjust their plan for that. Or another client who got a divorce, so we needed to adjust their plan for that as well. So most of these generic plans that they're giving you are not necessarily adjustable for whenever there's different seasons or changes in your life. Accountability and support. So probably the biggest benefit to my program, because like I said, everybody wants that accountability partner. So I'm here to hold your hand and walk you through it every single step of the way. There's a reason I asked about wins and challenges on the check-in form, because if there's a recurring barrier that keeps popping up, we really need to identify it and make solutions around it. That's one thing that those generic plans are not going to give you. They may tell you, hey, you need to eat chicken, broccoli, rice for dinner, but they're not going to tell you what to do instead or what the backup plan is if something comes up and now you have to go to parent-teacher meeting all of a sudden, or you work late and now there's no backup option, so we got to run through McDonald's. So they don't help you formulate solutions around recurring problems. Look, I can't tell you how many times I've heard in the past before I had my own program was, I wish I could bring you around with me so you can tell me exactly what I should and shouldn't do. But this is exactly that. I'm in your phone. I'm in your back pocket. So this behavioral coaching is probably the key difference in this accountability and support that you're not going to get from other coaches, because behavioral changes are the difference between short-term results and long-term sustainability. If one of the recurring barriers that keeps popping up is our stress or our emotional eating, most of those generic programs are not going to walk you through that and help you overcome some of those mental blocks. Because if we have these short-term results from this 6-week challenge that we did, that's great, but that's not going to prepare us for when we go through a really emotional situation, or we go through a breakup, or we have stress in our finances, and so then we start emotional eating or stress eating. Again, generic programs are not going to walk you through that and help you formulate solutions around it. Education. Listen, I'm never going to tell you to do something without giving you the why behind it, because that doesn't do you any good. You need to have the know-how to continue on in the future on your own. While I definitely have some clients who come back to me because life happens, of course, we can't control that. My goal is for everyone to have the tools, knowledge, and resources that they need in order to be able to maintain the results long term on their own and make their own health decisions confidently. We want to have that nutrition autonomy. You don't want to be dependent on me, and I don't want you to be dependent on me. You never want to be dependent on your coach. So if you have a coach and they're giving you a lot of information about what you should do, but not necessarily telling you the why, they are leaving you dependent on them, which is what they want for you to continue with them long term. I'm not here to keep clients forever. I'm here to give you what you need, get you results, and teach you how to maintain that. So some questions to just ponder or imagine, what would it feel like to not have to guess about what is or isn't healthy? You can go to the grocery store and you can pick out what you need and not have to think about, is this healthy or isn't, like trying to compare the nutrition labels, but not necessarily understanding what any of those numbers or things mean. So what would that feel like? Or what would it feel like to not have to stress about every single thing you put in your mouth? I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of the food noise. I hear it all the time before clients come to me. So not having to think about or stress about every single little thing, or this cupcake that I ate, is this going to completely throw off my goals? No. Imagine how it would feel to see results without feeling restricted. So we can have the cupcake, we can have brunch with the girls, we can have anything that we want in moderation and not feel like we have to completely restrict ourselves. Psychology tells us that if we restrict now, we're likely to binge or overindulge later. So there's no point in restricting. It's one thing to moderate, but it's a completely different thing to eliminate or restrict or avoid. That's what we don't want. I'm never going to tell you that you can't have something or that you have to completely eliminate something from your diet, because that's not helpful for you and that's not sustainable in the long term either. So kind of looking at comparing the Simple, Smart, Sustainable program to other programs. I won't spend too long on this just because it's also in the form below this video. But, just knowing that you'll never have to be left alone, because I keep that constant pulse on my client. So other programs, one size fits all, no regard for your preferences, health conditions, life, or goals. Like I said, schedules, anything like that, right? They're offering cookie cutter advice that comes from trendy diets typically that aren't necessarily sustainable. The word of the day is sustainable. And then they're led by co-coaches or assistants who rarely check in or give any kind of feedback. Again, like I said in the beginning, you are only working with me directly. You're getting direct one-to-one feedback and custom support. It's all individualized. And then limited or no education. So giving a lot of instructions, like I said, with no explanation, again, leaving you dependent on them, where my goal for you is nutrition autonomy. And then maybe you're getting these little short 6-week programs that aren't necessarily enough time to elicit any real behavior change or long-term change. So here we're looking at 16 weeks of hands-on coaching at a price point you can afford. With me, you'll get real-time answers right whenever they're happening, and you'll have specific instructions and education and reasoning why for what you need each week to reach your goals. So this is an example of my one-to-one check-in form. So talking about wins, challenges, progress, also looking at things like how is your stress, how is your mood, because we know that health and nutrition are not confined to just nutrition and exercise. It's about our sleep, stress, energy levels, work, environment, and all of these other internal and external factors that affect our overall health and well-being. If we know that stress is a recurring factor that's getting in the way of our goals, we got to address that. So that's why this is a comprehensive, holistic approach, not just looking at nutrition and exercise. And then some of my client wins, not really to brag or toot my own horn, but obviously you don't want to waste money on someone who isn't going to get you results. And here, as you can see, some of my clients' feedback really speaks for itself. Looking at the SSS program levels, so we have a level 2 and a level 1. The level 2 is the unlimited, I'm in your back pocket with you 24/7 kind of level. So if you are starting from scratch and you're like, Chelsea, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, this is a really great option because there's unlimited check-in form submissions, unlimited Q&As via private chat. So I'm with you in your phone at all times, basically. What I usually have is that clients will start out with this the first 4 months, and then whenever they renew with me with really good loyalty pricing, they ultimately end up doing the level 1. Now that they've had this really good foundation and knowledge built, they can switch to a level 1 in that second round of coaching. And then the level 1 is still a really great option. We get bi-weekly check-ins, still all of the group calls and educational content and community. We just don't necessarily get the unlimited Q&A and private chat, but still a really great option. Maybe if you're a little bit more seasoned and you kind of have an idea of what you're doing, but you really just need a little bit more guidance and support or direction. Or if you're on a budget, this can be a really good budget-friendly option as well. Next steps is fill out the form below this video that says let's work together. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's super quick and easy. This is just a really good assessment tool that allows me to get to know you and your goals a little bit better. Even if you're still on the fence a little bit, go ahead and fill it out anyway, or send me a message and we can get to chatting, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you.